Hey guys, Eric here, joined with Travis Gafford at BlizzCon 2015. How are you doing, Travis?
I'm doing very well, Eric.
Great. We just actually tried out Cho'Gall, which is a new Heroes of the Storm character hero that requires 2 people to play.
Yeah, it's actually like a 2-in-1 situation.
Yeah, and you played as the range, which you don't move at all.
Yeah, it's
right?
the sidecar, I think is what they're calling it.
Okay. I played as Cho, so I was basically navigating us around, and each of us had our own 3 skills. I had like kind of like a charge move, I had like a ground pound kind of stomp move, and then my third ability was kind of like rolling this bomb that you would then have to queue up.
Yeah, exactly. So you would hit your E and sort of roll a ball in a certain direction, and then you would be like, oh, rolling the ball, and then it's on me to act like detonate it basically when it gets to like the enemy or whatever, which was really unique.
Yeah, and so you know, tell me about what your skills were and kind of just how it was as being the sidecar and not really moving. You were basically like forced to go or do whatever I did.
It was very interesting because normally, obviously, in the game you start clicking around or whatever, and there was like nothing I could do there. And at first you can't auto attack, you can't do anything. So at first you get this idea that like you're not going to be able to do very much, and the game's not going to be very fun. But it actually ends up being, they talked about this on the panel. It actually ends up being really fun to just sort of be like this mobile turret on top of you. And I'm like, because there's also unlimited resources for Gall, so like he doesn't have to worry about mana, so he's just shooting off his abilities all the time. I had like a sort of like skill shot Q thing that's just like a direct missile, and then I also had on my W like a sort of bouncing ball that was really fun. And then my ultimate, I picked like a shadow volley thing that again just sort of shoots off a ton of shadow bolts in whatever direction I'm wanting to aim it in. So it was actually a pretty neat experience, and I don't know, it's hard to imagine doing that. I don't know about you, but I feel like it was hard to imagine doing that without like a Skype or a voice over IP solution while you're playing the game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's one of those heroes that, I mean, you already kind of want to communicate in that game, but they have kind of like waypoints and stuff you can use, like alt keys, like, hey, let's capture this thing. But really with this character, it's like you need the communication.
Yeah, there was a moment where I remember I used my ultimate, and I'm like shooting off a bunch of bolts, and then you're like running backwards away, so like I couldn't hit anything because I was out of range the entire time. And so it's definitely a character that requires a lot of communication. I don't know, I mean, I think that maybe we can go into this. I think that the way that you get the character, unlock the character is really unique and novel. This is a situation where I guess instead of buying it in the store, you actually, like everybody at BlizzCon gets it, everybody that bought like the digital pass to get to watch the show gets it, and then when you play with people, they also get it. So it kind of spreads like a virus, and you unlock it by playing with people. Kind of a fun way on the way that the hero works in the first place.
Yeah, I think it's a super interesting idea. I think it's one of those things that kind of creates interest too, because it's like, oh, like I'll get that hero once, like I play with someone, so like hopefully someone here at BlizzCon or someone I know or like a friend of a friend will let me play with them, and then they get to try this interesting dynamic of, either I'm the sidecar or I'm the car that's actually driving. And I think that's super fun, and it's interesting. I think I could also see it being frustrating because they're like, let's say I throw out a mine, and if I don't tell you, then it's like, oh, I didn't see that. And so, like again, it just harkens to, being really good with communication. But that's the fun part of it, right? So it's like I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna queue up my alt. We're gonna go in, and like it's like, okay, yeah, like I'm gonna get my alt ready too. And I think that was like the really fun part of it.
It'll be interesting to see how they manage to balance it, because it's also 2 slots in the game. So I can even see from like the esports or competitive aspect, like, is this thing going to be super overpowered? Is it going to be useless? Like, it'll just be really interesting.
We'll see after this, because like, obviously only so many people have it in their hands, but it's going to spread. It's going to spread the Cho'Gall virus. So, thanks Travis for joining me in this conversation on playing Cho'Gall together. I think it worked out. I mean, we played bots, but we smashed them.
Yeah. I think I'm done ever playing Heroes of the Storm with you after that. It's over. It ruined our friendship.
That's fine. Well, that might happen. But thanks, guys. Stay tuned to GameSpot.com for your continuing coverage of Heroes of the Storm, and check out GameSpot Esports.